You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, where we share topics that will inspire business growth and help you stay ahead of advances in technology before they become mainstream. This episode is sponsored by Ingram Micro Xvantage, the game-changing platform that will transform your business potential and reshape how customers see you. According to the World Economic Forum, sustainability has become increasingly critical for organizations to remain relevant and competitive in today's world. Much like digital transformation, driving sustainability requires organizations to transform every division of their business. Sustainability plays across three areas: environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, as you probably have heard. Our next guests, Guy Hocking and Kim Hutmacher, are members of Ingram Micro's TrustX Alliance community, and they're leading the charge to educate partners on the value of sustainability in business and beyond. Welcome to the show, Guy Hocking and Kim Hutmacher. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very, very important topic around sustainability. But before we jump into this really important topic, tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and where you're located. Kim, we're going to start with you.
Thanks for having me. My name is Kim Hutmacher. I'm the general manager of TLD Computers. We're an IT and AV solution provider. We've been in business for 40 plus years on the west coast of Canada. So we're situated in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we're very excited to be part of this. Thanks.
Fantastic. Welcome. And Guy?
Good morning, Nina. Yes, Guy Hocking, Managing Director here at Utilize. So we've been in business not quite as long as Kim, 25 years now, and we're a managed service provider based here in London, in the UK, and I've been a member of the TrustX Alliance now for over 8 years.
Wow. Okay, that was my next question for you. So you're both members of TrustX Alliance, and first, thank you so much for not only your business, but for your community membership and activism, because it has been so incredibly valuable. Guy, what has your experience with TrustX been like?
Well, look, it's been pretty game changing for us. So, as I say, we've been a member for 8 years. So we've probably doubled in size as a business since joining. And I've held various roles, but more recently, I'm the managing director now here at Utilize. And so much so, such as our passion for the community. I'm now president of the UK community, and sort of the voice of the member here in the UK.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive and a very impressive story that being a member of TrustX Alliance has had such a positive impact on your business. So, Kim, what about you?
Well, TLD has been part of the TrustX community for well before it was called TrustX, to be honest. And I've also kind of had a variety of roles with our organization. So TrustX has been, I think I took my word, game changing, but transformative. When we shifted into more of a service focused provider, TrustX afforded us to do that really through partnership, collaboration. It allowed us to stretch our business. So our service piece has grown year over year over year, and it is, in direct correlation to our relationships within TrustX. So it's been fantastic. And from a professional individual standpoint, not only has our company evolved in that partnership, but I think our leadership team has as well.
That's great. And what about the relationships? I hear this a lot when I talk to members of TrustX. And talk to us a little bit about that. It's more than just the business, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I think when you shift in roles, depending on where your role is within an organization, you can sometimes feel very narrow in your focus, sometimes a little bit alone even in what you're trying to achieve. And with the TrustX community, when you build relationships, you really have a direct line to somebody else, either experiencing something similar or having navigated. And for us, that's critical. And it's professional and personal, which is interesting. You align yourself with people that are going through this similar experiences, and it's Yeah, I can say there's a lot of friendship and professional kind of prom- prompting, I guess, within the group as well, and a lot of opportunity. Guy's the president. I just joined council a little while ago, so it's stretching yourself as well.
Oh, that's great. And Guy, I mean, obviously you have moved up in the organization, but it is more than just business, isn't it?
Oh, I know it really is. I mean, I kind of look at it. The best way I've heard it described is like an extended board of a board of directors. So like you have that trust, you have that sort of faith, and you have those relationships being built over time. And as you know, to Kim's point, I think like you can pick up the phone to these guys and girls at any point, but you both have their friendship and you have their professionalism at the same time. And I think, like I say, it's very rare you'll get an extended board of directors all in the same community, all in the same industry, and at your disposal. So yeah, it's definitely more than just business, Nina.
So the two of you have come together to work on something very, very important, something that I think you two are both very passionate about. Guy, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the program that you're working on.
Well, I mean, just to sort of continue on, I guess from my previous point, I guess what we're seeing is, I guess, three things. We're seeing customers come to us and talk to us about ESG, about sustainability, and to the point now, it's more than just a tick box. We're seeing it weaved into sort of tenders and all sorts of different scoping documents. So customers are coming to us. That's the first thing. We're then seeing employees have the same conversation. I think generationally, they seem to be. It's more important to them, I think, and also they're coming from organisations that are responsible. Like they're addressing these things, and then finally, I think, and this is where we've really tried to use the community to our advantage. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to sort of get away from. I guess the myths and the demystification of what is sustainability and bring it back down to earth, bring it back down to something tangible that we as business owners can action. And I think really that's why we've kind of started on this initiative and exactly what it set out to achieve.
What did you use as your kind of guidepost? Was it the UN and the UN's guidelines on sustainability?
Yeah, so with the goal of trying to create something that's tangible and actionable for members of the TrustX Alliance, we needed a sort of a signpost to your point. We needed a framework, and we used exactly the UN Sustainable Development Goals to do that. And there are 17, and then these are obviously all backed by the UN and the governments that joined that. And again, using that as a framework, bringing it back down to earth and bringing it back down to actionables for us as organisations.
And Kim, what have you seen? Well, first of all, what are you talked about the UN guidelines, 17 of them. Did you take on all 17?
No, and I do want to share that Guy and his community has started this, and as Canadians and the TXA, we have the benefit of following what they've driven, which is fantastic. But yeah, there's 17 pillars, so to speak, and to take on 17 would be extremely daunting. And you can take on any one that aligns best for you, but we've narrowed it down to four, which is, I'm just going to read them off here. Like good health and well-being is the first one. Gender equality, the second. Decent work and economic growth, and climate action. So those are the four pillars that we continually talk about in our collaboration in our groups. But again, there are additional ones that your organization can decide work well for you and you target as well.
So, what have you in this effort? What have you learned from this?
That it isn't as daunting as you think it is. Mm-hmm. That it's much more than just large scale climate initiative. That you can take it into little pieces And in fact, I think when we get together collectively and we're having conversation about what we're doing, we actually have learned, I think, as a group, that we're all doing more than we think that we're doing, which is fantastic. And that there are shifts and additional little things that we can do that are really quite manageable. I would say that's the biggest, is feeling like you're actually making change in a subject that can feel, quite large.
Sure. Just the when you hear ESG, you think of some massive, large corporate initiative, and it certainly doesn't have to be that way. It can be practiced by smaller organizations like our TrustX Alliance partners. And so the reception guy, since you started this initiative in the UK, what has been the response there?
Well, look, I mean, I think we had over 25 members in the UK community. That's well over 50% of the UK community join in from day one. So there's definite appetite there. And I think certainly we're seeing the same things. Customers, employees, they're asking the same things around sustainability. And to Kim's point, like if you take the very essence of being in a community, the best bit of that is coming back and sharing best practice. What are you doing? What are other organizations learning from? And I think together with Ingram Micro, who bring a lot to the table and have got a vast amount of experience in this area, all the vendors coming together, and then all the members as well, coming together as one, learning from each other, we start to see some of the things where, to Kim's point again, we're already doing, and obviously the new stuff that we're getting on with as well. So we get together once a quarter and we share those best practices, and that's really where it comes to life for us, Nina.
That's great. Kim, do you have any examples maybe that you can share for us of other partners in Canada that have already started this effort and what the results have been?
Absolutely. In the last session, we all shared, one or two smaller things that we were doing. And there's some great stuff in there, very inspiring. So our organization, for example, TLD, implemented mental health first aid training for our leadership group. And that one landed quite well for a lot of people. And they're taking that on and they're adding that to their leadership training. Becoming a living wage employer. I know when I heard that, I thought, oh, gee, that sounds like something to take on. It's actually quite easy, and we've all shared provincially how we can go about ensuring that we align with that, and we are certified in that area. A tree planting campaign, which I thought was great. It's taking a portion of profit and implementing planting of trees in community, which I think is great. Customers and employees feel really good when they're changing their own community. Hiring a female intern, we talked a lot about that and the varying sources that you can use to do that. A walking club, even getting people into physical movement in the workplace, and how do you create something that motivates people to do that? So there's just so many different things that I think for the most part has been really inspiring and very manageable.
I love that. 2 points that come to me from this conversation. One is, it sounds to me like, the perception, again, daunting. I don't know if I can do this. Why am I doing this? But once you really start to have the conversation, I would imagine it turns into passion, because all of the things that you're talking about are really feel good things. Feel good for the company, feel good for the community, feel good for the world. So how could you not be inspired by that and want to participate? So that's one point that comes to mind. The second point is one that you brought up earlier, Guy, and we're seeing this a lot, that the next generation of workers want to align with a company that maps to their value system. And sustainability, the environment means a lot to them, because they're thinking of their future, and they want to make sure it's, there's a world that's going to be around for them for a while.
Yeah, so true.
So where do you go from here?
Well, I think for us, it's continuing to to share those best practices. I think there's some, whilst there's some things that we're doing already, and I think there's some quick wins. There's also some really challenging things as well. So climate action is probably the big one, and that's where most people go to when you say ESG or sustainability. And calculating carbon footprint, working out how you're going to get to net zero are some big challenges, and they're going to take many months. So that's going to be a lot of sharing, a lot of talking, a lot of best practices, I think. So that's probably that's on the immediate horizon, and we've got to start that process now. So Ingram Micro are helping us with that, and we're also, like I say, leveraging the community and learning from each other along the way. And I guess then there's another 13 goals to tackle, right? So I don't think this is a bus that's going to be stopping anytime soon.
You're right. This is just the beginning. And Kim, what about you?
Absolutely, I'm along with Guy and his community. I think the Canadian community is following that path. We are sharing how to do a larger impact around climate change as well. So I need to emphasize the value of partnership in this, because Guy's group is leading the way and we're trudging behind and or alongside, and that's so critical. But yeah, there's 13 more on the list.
But there's a lot. In other words, there's plenty of work to be done.
Right.
So I have a question for both of you. If you were speaking to a company that was an Ingram Micro partner, but not a member of TrustX Alliance, what would you tell them about membership?
I guess look, I think there's two things I would take. Obviously, I said earlier, like if you can imagine having a group of IT companies that you trust, that you have built relationships over many years, and you trust their advice and their opinion, on your board that you meet sort of every month, every other month, maybe once a quarter, and you get to share and tackle some real business problems together, then I think that on its own is phenomenal, right? And we have learned so much from the community over the 8 years we've been members. So having that sort of trusted board of directors is one thing, and I don't know where else you get that. I actually don't know. I mean, I've been a part of many sort of communities like similar to this. None have given me that level of trust, and I think the second part is partnering, and I think Kim touched on this just a minute ago. I think you can like taking on some of the big guys and girls, that can be quite difficult. And actually, if you've got an area of if you've got a lack of expertise in a certain area, actually you can partner with other members of the community to come together as one and deliver a technical or other solution to a customer. So I think both from a partnering and both from a learning perspective, that it's just such a powerful place to be.
Expanding your portfolio and extending your geographic reach.
Indeed.
And Kim, what about you?
All of what Guy said, absolutely. And I can break it down to, for me, simplifying time. It's improved time for us. And what I mean by that is, we have in our group a very lean leadership group. It's not a vast group. I reach out to TrustX as a addition to my management or leadership group. So I've taken on projects that if I had independently worked within my group only would have taken us 3-4 weeks to get done, possibly even months. I've reached out to TXA members that I trust, gotten some input and some assistance, and that's shifted that time down massively. Revenue, it's increased our revenue. We used to say we're a Western Canadian provider. We're a Canadian provider, because we can reach out to partners that we trust, that align with our values, our style of service, and we've got a solid relationship. So we can definitely service across Canada now. So time, resource, our resource pool is vast now that we've got these partnerships. And then there's the piece of professional growth and training. I've got a line item in my financials for training and development. I can say that what is in that number versus what we're actually getting from TXA itself is a vast difference. And we do almost all of our professional development now through community and the offerings that Ingram and TXA provide us.
That's incredible, actually. Well, Guy, Kim, thank you so much for such an enlightening and inspiring conversation about TrustX, about sustainability, and about partnership with other companies, and partnership with Ingram Micro. Thank you so much for joining us today. To learn more about ESG and sustainability, please reach out to your Ingram Micro country manager. To learn more about membership in Ingram Micro's TrustX Alliance community, please use the QR code featured here. Impactful global engagements, iconic entertainment experiences, and memorable networking opportunities. Be part of it all at Ingram Micro One 2024. You've been listening to Ingram Micro's B2B Tech Talk. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode and you want to continue the conversation online, use hashtag B2B Tech Talk.